This is the time now for the panel discussion, and I'll request our audience, since the questions that have already come in over here are there, so I'll be giving you the opportunity, but please keep them very short so that our panelists get more time to answer the question, right? So I'll ask. I think I'll ask Maxim McDonald to begin. He wants to ask a question to Sister Shivani. Maybe you can unmute yourself and ask your question. So since I think I do not know. Yeah. Amritya Agarwal also wants to ask a question. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, it's my son's account. This is Miss Agarwal.
Okay, great. Please.
Thank you so much. It was lovely listening to Sister Shivani. It was really enlightening for my kids. But as I'm opening a school in Pune, Deepika, I found your presentation very exciting and fun. So if you can tell me, how does it go about? Like, do I approach you? Do you send people to our school? How do you all help us out?
Oh, sure. So, how it would work is that you can just contact our office, and some member from our marketing team would assist you. We have offices in Bangalore, so probably my Bangalore and Mumbai. So probably my Mumbai office would assist you in this whole thing. And you would send us, if you're building a new school, you send us your AutoCADs. We would work on complete layouts. In case 3D renders are needed, we will do those for you. And all quotations will be sent to you. And in case you want to do any site visits, because there are lots of schools all across the country which we are doing, so you can definitely visit those, because you need to see the furniture that you're buying and then take a call on that.
That was nice. Thank you so much.
Charles, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, I'll read out the question for Sister Shivani, which comes out here from Maxim. He wanted to ask about, wouldn't social media handle being provided to a student be an old thought, keeping in mind the proliferation of technology and IT becoming the norm of the day of the mark of the 21st century? Sister Shivani, over to you.
What is going to be in society, we know. At what pace it's moving, we know. But in every age, we know what's right at what age for an individual, right? If we are not able to create those, you say, to do and not to do things, and we're not able to realize that this is not right for a child, like we have for certain things that, okay, this is allowed above 18, this is allowed above 21. A platform where there is a constant interaction with people you don't know, and most important, a platform on which comparison becomes a very natural emotion, where a child who is yet to create their personality is actually constantly comparing themselves with others in terms of how they look, what they achieve, or what they are doing, or what they're doing with their family. A child growing up on a foundation of comparison, a child growing up on a foundation of feeling superior to others or inferior to others would not be very healthy for a child. So how we take care of that is our responsibility, but we need to be aware that it's not healthy for a child. Actually, it's not healthy for anybody. It's not healthy for anybody, but definitely not for a child who still doesn't understand the difference between them and is going to grow up believing that this way of living is normal.
Thank you. I think we have two more hands raised by Dr. Tanuja, and so you can just unmute yourself and give me the questions. Then we'll decide how we need to answer them. I'll go for both the questions, please. Yeah, Vikas Bandani, please.
Om Shanti, Sister Shivani. This is Vikas.
Om Shanti ji, thank you.
Yeah. Didi, I just would first of all like to thank you from bottom of my heart, because whatever I am today is because of you. I listen to you on daily basis, and we own a school over here in MP, and I would just like to ask you, it becomes very difficult at times to make understand parents as in the actual definition of success that you have said, right? Every time any parent comes and meet me, I always tell them what is the ultimate goal, of our life. Fine, we'll have good education, we'll have good career, but what after that? And it becomes very difficult to make them understand what we want, as far as the ultimate goal of education is concerned. So how can, as an educator, we should do justice with our role and making the children uh, happy forever? I mean, just need some pearls of wisdom from you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll also take the question from Dr. Tanuja, and then I'll request sister to speak. Dr. Tanuja.
Yeah, first of all, a very good evening to everyone and all present. And I really like the point mentioned by Sister Shivani that today the children are really having any work doing around the screen. So the screen is such a life which we have seen in last few years that children have increased the screen life, and it has so happened that no matter whatsoever it is, they just need to means they have a different attachment to it, whether it is games or whether it is YouTube or just being there. And sometimes we come across, I'm the principal, and I realize sometimes that children are learning certain things which right now is not their domain, like making their own YouTube channel, creating content on it. No matter how relevant it is, they don't take care of it. They just want that they should also have a channel. So how we can actually help them understand that what are their limitations and what are their strengths at this point of time pertaining to the online world. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And I think there's one more question which says, how to discipline children without fear, from Kanika Sood. So sister, if you could take all three of them together. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Vikasji, first thing is, as far as what parents' expectations are, they're living in a society where they want their children to be at par with all those who are called successful, right? So you can't change their mindset immediately, because for that will happen only when society will change its definition of success. Till then, even if innately they know, but they say, but we're living in this world and we want our child to be successful in this world. So for that, their parameter remains the same. What we could start doing as a leader of a school is that we are inculcating this in the child. Inculcate it in the child. Like whatever you teach children in school, many times they go home and teach their parents that. A simple thing like, because children, it's very easy to, you make them understand and they will absorb it. And because it's done in that school setting where all the children are doing it together, they will accept it, understand it, and they will want to implement it. So whether it is no to plastic, whether it is no to crackers, they will go home and tell their parents, you know what, I'm not going to burst crackers this year. But the parent will say, Diwali hai, they'll say, no, I learned in school, we should not burst crackers. So often it is the child who becomes the ambassador, who will go home and will be sharing these principles with their parents. So we don't need to really convince individual parents, because you can't suddenly change their mindset till the world is changed around them. But we can inspire the children to learn this mindset. And it's not that we're not saying that performance is not important. Again, performance is important, because finally the child will pass out of 10th, marks are important, again 12th, marks are everywhere, it's important. But not that that's the only important thing, and who you are is not going to be taken care of. So we just have to bring it at par so that people realize the value of their values, of their sanskar, the karma they do. They don't have to go to the age of 50 to understand that every karma that I did has a consequence, that I am the creator of my destiny. They're not going to learn that late. They have to learn it when they are children. So basics, laws of spirituality to be taught with the laws of science. This is how the olden Gurukul system used to be like this. How was the Gurukul system of education? That's in India, right? The Gurukul system of education, where we are teaching the child the outside world, and we're also teaching the child the inside world. We're teaching the child both the worlds. That is the Gurukul system.
But ma'am, the pressure a parent creates on the child to perform sometimes, is being passed on to the school as well.
Yeah.
uh, I mean, at times, I mean, if the ideology of the school and the parent differs, then it becomes real challenging, as in, what to do, and the child really becomes confused, as in who is right and whom should I listen to.
The ideology of a school is obviously going to be to groom the child to perform, because that's for what the parent has sent the child to school. But what the school is going to do is, while grooming them to perform, they're going to be making them happy, stronger individuals who will truly be successful. Not that who will achieve but are emotionally disturbed, not being able to make their relationships work. At the age of 30, they're saying, I don't want to live with my spouse. I don't feel like, we don't want to groom those individuals as success. So the school will continue to focus on performance, but along with that will be sustaining the emotional health of the child, because then truly you will be creating a successful person, not just a partial, a holistic success. So that will be an innate intention that you will be carrying as a leader of the school.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
And
you so
I
much.
think
Thank you.
there was a question over here: how to discipline children without fear?
Yeah, 1 minute. We'll just take Dr. Tanuja.
Okay,
And
yes,
she
yes.
shared
Right.
about screens, and she
Right.
shared about creating YouTube channels.
Yes.
The whole thing about creating YouTube channels and putting your own content there is not just about content, it's about the child getting dependent on appreciation and what they're going to get from public. So something which is affecting adults so much, so we can't even imagine how much it could be affecting a child. To be looking after every few minutes or hour to check how many more people saw what I have done and what are the comments that people have written about me. So to become dependent on public opinion and then to mold yourself and to create that what will get you more views and more appreciation from people is not going to allow the innate personality of the child to develop. So that is definite, because the child will mold themselves according to what the public is saying, according to what people are saying about them on that social media handle. That's why that is not the age. That is not the age. So how you are going to stop them from that I don't know. That you will have to figure out as teachers, as school leaders, as parents. But that is definitely not the age, because we can see ourselves when we get affected by public opinion, when we get affected by peer pressure. So what will happen to an individual who are going to grow up getting affected by public opinion of people they don't even know? I mean, we've also had public opinion, peer pressure, but it was only that small circle of our own friends, siblings, neighbors, classmates. But here we are getting affected by people we don't even know. Strangers' opinion is going to mold our personality. So that's not very healthy for a child. So how we do it will need to be decided by the school and the parents. Dr. Kanika, how to discipline a child without creating fear. When we use a method of aggression, criticism, or comparing the child with others, we're radiating a negative energy to the child, even if it's just in the mind and it's not in the words and behavior, it's just in my mind. And then I'm telling them what is right and what is not right for them. But while telling them what is right, I am radiating negative energy of irritation, anger, criticism, or comparison. It is this energy which reaches the other individual, a child in this case, and triggers the negative emotions in them. The negative emotion could be fear. The negative emotion could be indifference. I don't care what my parent is saying. I'm going to do what I feel is right. A negative emotion could be aggression. A negative emotion could be going into a shell, just withdrawn completely. But that negative emotion is not because of the discipline. That negative emotion is because of the negative energy which went with the method of discipline. But if we understand the child, spiritually we see it, the child is also a soul on a journey who's carried different sanskars, emotional patterns. So we understand that they may not be right, but this is very natural for them. So accept them, understand them, which means you're creating respectful energy, and then discipline them. Then it will allow the child to be comfortable with who they are, because you accept them as a parent, as a teacher, then they are able to accept themselves, and then they are able to actually have the strength to even create a change. We have to have a strength to create a change. We don't need just advice to create a change. We need the power to be able to create a change. They know what is right, what is wrong, but they need to have the power. So the power to transform has to be radiated by parents and teachers around them. And aggression, irritation, criticism, this is not power. This depletes their power actually.
Thank you. Will you be taking the question on how to discipline children without fear?
We just did that.
Oh, you right. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think both have been answered. Thank you so much. And now we have a question for Suriyaprakash, which says, will the concept of credit share and interchangeable of streams succeed as enunciated in the NEP 2020? Could you highlight some practical challenges to be overcome? So this is the last question of the day. Suriyaprakash ji, would you kindly take it?
Could you repeat the question, please? Because I didn't get it clearly.
Okay, again, it's written over here. It says, will the concept of credit share and interchangeability of streams succeed as enunciated in the NEP 2020? Could you highlight some practical challenges to be overcome? You know, the changing of subjects that we have.
I get that.
Yeah.
Well, I have my personal opinion is again about we are focusing on the content. So when you talk about credit share and interchangeability of subjects, of course we could do all that, and of course there will always be practical difficulties, teething problems in implementing and executing these processes, but they can be overcome because we have technology to overcome all these issues. So definitely children will become multi-talented, and we would produce, and they definitely would perform better. But what I was emphasizing is that as educationists and education institutions, we need to focus more on the holistic development of the child, not simply the subjects that they learn. So that is what I was hoping about. Therefore, if we could do that, along with the inherent universal values that we want the children to inculcate, then I think we would be able to succeed in these technical solutions that we are finding to improve the performance of the children. Because for holistic development and sustainable development of any process, they have to be rooted in values. Then we need systems in place, and then technical solutions. The credit sharing and interchange of the courses that you're talking about is both of technical solutions to improve performance and increase knowledge. Eventually they have to, and we will definitely find systems to put in place to make them work, but eventually, unless they are grounded in the roots, for example, as sister just now said, unless parents are convinced and the society is convinced about what we define as success, many of these things would definitely not find its full potential.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. I think that was very insightful, and there was a lot of takeaway from there. We are very grateful that you were with us. Would you like to answer a few questions right now?
Sure. If there's something which I'm not that knowledgeable, but I'm happy to take some.
No, I think
I've only got practical knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's the best. So maybe we can, there's a small question over here. So if there is one skill that you would advocate, which is relevant now and will not lose its relevance for a very long time, what skill would that be?
See, I'll tell you one thing. The world is changing very rapidly. So today to say digital is the flavor of the day, yes. Innovation is the flavor, thinking out of the box is the flavor. But I personally believe the skill you should pursue is what comes to your heart. What you think you're best at and where your heart drives you, that's the skill you'll put in maximum energy. And once you do it from your heart, you're going to succeed. So I'm sorry, I'm not able to pinpoint a particular skill because the world is changing. Had it been a constant world, we would know exactly where we are going. But the way technology is coming, innovation is coming, tomorrow you never know what's relevant. Nobody could have thought we'll be doing education, or we'll be having schools closed, and we'll be working through digital platforms. If you would have asked me this question 2.5 years ago, that you close your office for 1.5 years, I would have never ever dreamt I could do that, honestly. And today we are in fact working towards actually running our office only on need basis, or thrice a week or twice a week, or going forward as well, irrespective of the COVID. So, I mean, things are changing so fast, it's very difficult to pinpoint a skill.
Thank you so much. And our organizers have allowed us one more question, which of course it will be my privilege to ask Sister Shivani. And may I? So the question is, I think there's an echo. So the question is basically, how do we teach children to choose? Because choosing has become the focal point of our discussion today. And how do we make them decision makers so that they choose what they need to think? Okay. So I can repeat the question again for you, right?
I thought that was last, so I just went over.
No, they just permitted us one more.
Sure.
So please, I'll take the privilege. So the question basically, I see when we spoke about it, the talk was on people learning to choose their thoughts. So how do we teach children how to choose their thoughts and to become decision makers when usually we find them doing everything that their parents tell them, their choice of job, everything, just about everything. Sister Shivani, over to you.
It's not about just choosing thoughts. They choose thoughts. They need to know how to create their thoughts, which means they are the creator of their thoughts, but they're living in a world where they feel that their thought is dependent on the situation and people. Independence means someone could not be behaving right, but I have the power to create a thought of forgiveness. I have the power to create a thought of compassion. So that is about the ability to create your thoughts. Once we understand that I am creating my thought and I respond right to situations, it builds up my emotional health. Once I have built up my emotional health, my intuition starts working better. My decision making starts working better. It's not just for children. We have so many adults nowadays also who are asking the other person, what do you think I should do? They prefer somebody else taking their decision for them because their decision making capacity, they're fearful of taking a decision and they're fearful of the consequences of that decision. So logical decisions, yes, but we need an intuitive power to be able to take the right decision where I should feel that this decision is right for me. That's not going to come from logic. That's not going to come always only from searching online. I have to feel it from within that this decision is right. So when we are building up our emotional health, when we are doing yoga, meditation on a daily basis, when we are able to still our mind, intuition works, creativity works, because intuition means you want your silent layer of the mind to talk, not just the clutter which is there on the top layer. So in a world where we are flooded with content and so much technology, we are using lesser of intuition power because there's so much noise on the top layer of the mind. So once the child starts developing their emotional health, their intuition and decision making power automatically gets sharpened. And then they will know intuitively what is right. They will have the power to take the decision, but more important, the power to face the consequences of the decision. Because every decision will come with its challenges, will come with its issues, will come with sometimes a little failure. The power to face the decision, the consequence of what I have decided, and at the same time, not getting attached with the decision to the result that if things don't go my way, I don't even want to live anymore. So take a decision, work towards it, but yet at the same time, in case it doesn't work, you have the power to adapt and move in another direction if you have built up your emotional resilience and you don't believe it's the end of the world because it didn't work out.
Thank you so much. That was really very encouraging, and I'm sure it will really make our students great decision makers. And with that note, I would like to thank all our speakers of the day for being so good to us and giving us a happy time. A special thank you to Suriyaprakash ji for education, for life and livelihood, to Shri Rajiv Podar ji for the future of education, for Sister Shivani for taking us through a lot of emotions and telling us how we can use our emotions by building emotional resilience, and for Deepika Goyal ji for talking to us about this wonderful popcorn furniture. And that's all from Raw and Real Masterclass on why schools were created, presented by Nature, Nurture, and Popcorn Furniture. Goodbye, everyone, and thank you. Have a nice time. Good night. Thank you.